Is Team SG here in the room? Okay, will you let me know, Golnaz? Okay, cool.
You're not live yet.
I am not live. You gotta love technology. Like, there's all the buttons to push, but then it doesn't tell you if you pushed them correctly.
You're live.
Okay, yay! Happy full moon, everybody! Welcome, welcome. Just finished welcoming everybody in the room. We have an incredible ritual planned for you tonight that I think you're really going to enjoy. Here we go. We are going to Rome tonight. It's hard to believe, but we only have September, October, November, and December left in the world of magic. And then we're not doing history next year. So my hope is, I know, next year is going to be very different, but you're going to love it. I actually, in my holistic healer group, which is my, I certify students to become holistic healers at the end of the year, I actually did a post where I asked them what they wanted to learn next year. And I took all of their comments and literally built a curriculum around it. So it's every single thing that my students have been asking for 7 years is being built into this new program. So you guys are going to flip out when you see what's coming. I literally, because I always, as a teacher, I always wanted feedback. I want more of this, less of that. So I literally went through and I'm like, I can literally build a curriculum that addresses every single thing everybody wants. So I hope you're ready for next year. But before we're done, we have a few more countries to travel to. I'll tell you why I did the world of magic this year. And I don't know if you've enjoyed it or not. I've enjoyed it. Some people don't love history, and it gets a little like sort of technical for people. The reason I did it is we're about to go into some heavy-hitting concepts next year, like shamanism, for example. And if you don't understand history, you can take things out of context and not be a good practitioner. Do you know what I mean? My hope is that having worked with me for going on 7.5 years, that when you hear Diana, I've taught you all about Diana. When you hear Ma'at, I've taught you all about Ma'at. When you hear Ishtar, I've taught you all about Ishtar. I want you to have instant recall of places, goddesses, energies, astrological signs, everything, because when I take you deeper next year, if you don't have all of that, you're not going to have the good foundation to build your practice on. So I was very professorial this year because I wanted you to have all your history buttoned up. So hopefully that's been helpful for you guys. You feel like you've gotten a tour of all these different places. Okay. So tonight with Rome, our theme is this, and I want you to close your eyes and really hear me more than see me. Take a nice deep breath. Here's the mantra or the theme for tonight. What you seek is seeking you. That is tonight. And it's really true. What you seek is seeking you. Every desire on your heart has been placed there with intention. If it's a person you want, if it's a place that you want, it is already seeking you. So a lot of times we go through life and we don't feel worthy of our desires. Does that ever happen to you where you're like, I don't know, I want this thing, but I don't think I'm worthy of it. I don't know if I'm meant to have it. What a different perspective to say, not only am I worthy of it, I'm actually being asked to do it. I'm being asked to create it. I'm being asked to have it. Because if you think about it and really consider it this way, the desires that are on your heart, most of the time, for most of you, are not selfish. Right? They're for you and for others. Right? If you had, think about all the things that you want right now. If you had them, wouldn't you share some of them with others in your life? I don't know why that makes me want to cry. And I'm looking right at you. Tell me your name again. Yes? Amy? There is a desire in your heart right now that is going to bless other people. Like, a lot of you have it, but you in particular, there's something that you want to do or create, and it's going to bless and help many other people. Do you know what that is? A little bit? Okay. Think more about it. Focus your energy on this ritual on it, because it's really powerful. Whatever you're attracting towards you is going to help a lot of people. And they're showing me local to you, close to you, and also away from you as well. Okay. That's the sweet thing about you guys is, and even if you're seeking financial prosperity, aren't you going to give some of it back? Yes. I bet you are. I mean, I bet it will flow right through your hands back out. You know, I mean, literally, a lot of my prosperity flows right through my hands back out. But that's money is water, is flow, is energy, is life, right? You're not meant to do this. What happens to people who hold on to money like this? That's all they ever get, right? If they hold on to that $20 bill, there's not another $20 bill coming. If they take that 20, divide it in half, give 10 away, then 20 more comes. And they give 10 more away and 50 more comes, right? I mean, that is the flow of generosity. And so I know when I hear you guys and your desires and your intentions, I know that you're going to give back. And so that's why I'm always, when I hear your desires, I'm always saying, yes, may it happen for you in perfect time, because I know that you're going to give back. I know that you're going to support people through what you seek. So let me tell you, the Festival of the Torches, then I'll come back to Pisces full moon, is called Nemoralia in Rome. As I said, it's happening tonight, has happened historically tonight. Honored the goddess Diana. Does anybody know what Diana represents? What does Diana like to do in her free time? If she was on a dating profile, you know what I mean? Like, in my free time, I like to... Long walks by what?
Long walks in the forest.
She enjoys playing with animals and howling at the moon, you know, I mean... And drinking wine and you know, gazing at herself in rivers and you know, and wouldn't you just love to join her? I always do think, I don't know why dating profiles make me laugh, but whenever I think about things like that, I'm always saying I'm so glad I'm married, because my dating profile would be so awkward. You know what I mean? Like, well, we're all awkward, and truthfully speaking, there is an awkward person out there for you. So don't feel like there is someone that I will tell you. There are very few things I will tell you that I am sure of 100%. There's like 5 things I think I'm sure of 100%. One of them is there is someone for everyone, and they will match your level of freak as close as you want them to. And so, anyway, I really believe that. I believe there, if you ever found your person yet, the day is young. But when that person shows up and is weird, don't be judgy, right? Like, you're weird too. I have friends, right? And like the most amazing man will appear, right? And they've been trying to summon this love. This man appears, and they're like, weird. He's weird. And I'm like, have you looked in the mirror? Right? I would not be able to talk. So anyway, I want to share that with you. It's really true. It's so true. So stand tight. Okay. Cicero, who was a very famous Roman statesman who was assassinated, is very famous for saying that Diana had many faces, and that there were many faces of power of women. So she was goddess of the moon, goddess of light, goddess of fertility, goddess of the hunt, goddess of protection, goddess of animals, goddess of nature. So she was busy. Okay. Now, the Catholics noticed, as Catholics often do, and I have nothing against Catholics, I have a very Christian background myself, but they do have this interesting habit of noting what is popular among the pagans and co-opting it with a new name, okay? And so, our Catholic friends noticed that the Nemoralia festival was kind of a hot ticket, and so they chose the same date to create the Feast of the Assumption that honors Mary. And so Diana became Mary, which is really weird for me, because there's not a lot of overlap there for me. I'm not seeing a Mary-Diana connection. I really tried to work with that. So I can't figure that out, but if you're Catholic and you know all about that, I would really love to know how Diana became Mary. I love Mary too, but I just kind of celebrate them. I put a little distance between Diana and Mary. Okay. The lake in Latin is called Nemorensis Lacus. Can you say that? Nemorensis Lacus. It is called the Sacred Lake. And so it's called Lake Nemi now. And so what I'm taking you to do tonight is we are going to do a little meditation with Diana. We're going to go as they do tonight and have for thousands of years. I'm going to take you to Lake Nemi, and you are going to gaze into that river and see what is seeking you.
Yeah.
Are you ready to see what's seeking you? I'm so excited to see what's seeking you. I'm going to see what's seeking me. And it could be freaky. That's okay. I know. You listen, the older you get, if you're young, I will tell you right now, you get to be middle-aged and you're like, bring it on. Because we realize we got at best like 10, 15 more years before it's really not so interesting for us to be freaky. You know what I mean? Before it's more creepy than freaky. So those of us in our 40s and 50s, we're going to kind of live it up tonight because that's kind of where we are. Okay. Now, interestingly, in etymological news, I'm a wordsmith and a linguist at heart. Diana and Deus come from the same Latin root. So Diana actually originates as the primary name of God, the feminine name of God. So did you know that? A lot of people don't know that. You know, they think of other goddesses as being more powerful, but truly, when you think of God with a female form, Diana was considered to be the most powerful of all of them. Okay. Now, all of that's happening. We have full moon in Pisces, which is really good news for my daughter. I have aquamarine on because I'm really trying to feel something tonight. Leo's, I'm double fire and I have no water in my chart, so I can't feel anything most of the time. But I'm really trying to feel all the feels tonight. I haven't cried yet, but that could still happen today. If you've cried, you probably have some water in your chart. It could be waterworks, legit waterworks, if you're triple water, like my sweet friend is. Are you handling it well? You're laughing, so I assume you're okay.
I'm really good on this moon. Like, I feel like alive and kicking.
She's feeling good. Yeah, so honestly...
Not like Psycho, like some of the other ones.
Well, honestly, the water signs know how to go with this flow. They're laughing at the rest of us who don't know what to do with all of this, okay? So anyway, as we... Lauren's like, God isn't a woman? God is everything. Everything. Okay, so what you seek is seeking you. So tonight, under this Pisces full moon, that's what we're going to do, is really look at reflection. And we're going to ask the spirits what it is that's seeking you. How many of you feel like you really know what's seeking you right now?
I do.
Do you know what's seeking you right now? Okay. I like, at any one time, I feel like I kind of do, kind of don't. You know what I mean? A lot of times I think I know what I want to be seeking me. Right? But the reality is there are specific things that are trying to get your attention. Oh, that tastes good. Okay. So we are working with, I'm going to tell you what the tools are. We're working with Huntress Perfume, which hopefully you loved. A Poponax Rose, and there's a little bit of like a woody note in there too. Ugh, sexy, sexy. Okay, I'm going to pass this around so that you can experience Huntress. And then just make sure that comes back to me so I can anoint one more time before we start. And if you're new to our rituals, by the way, anybody online who hasn't joined us before? Like, I would love to know. I always try to cover all the bases and the basics so that you kind of feel like you know what's going on. I always do the same things in ritual, but in case you're new.
Grace is new.
Oh, hi. I'm
She's
so happy that you're new.
Teacher at our yoga studio.
I want to come do Kundalini with you.
She's on it.
Kundalini yoga, I swear, I think, and I'm sure you will agree because you're passionate about it, I'm sure. I think it is the absolute secret.
Thank you, too.
The absolute secret. I've never felt better than I do right after a Kundalini yoga session. So thank you for coming tonight. We've got a Kundalini teacher right in our midst. Love it. We actually have a few Kundalini teachers in our community, so just know I love you and I love the work that you're doing. So welcome to all of you who are new. It's so beautiful. Shelley says, do you think if you miss the seeking, it seeks someone else, it moves on? I'm anointing, by the way, a little bit for what I know, a little bit on my wrist for what I do, a little bit at my ankles for where I go. That's where I put my oils when I'm anointing. You don't have to do that, but that's my routine. Okay, so do I think it leaves you and goes on to find somebody else? No. I think it waits for you. You know what I mean? The funny thing for me, the path that I'm on sought me for a long time. And it scared me because my mom, who is a really gifted channel and empath and medium, did terrifying things, really, when I was little with her abilities. Okay, I saw her move things. She experienced different levels of possession in the forms of other people coming to her. She used to channel and not open a circle, and so there'd be weird energies in the house. I have seen things. She did automatic writing. I was writing in German, which she doesn't know. She didn't finish high school. She never learned German, so she was writing full letters in German. So I saw my mom use her gifts, but not in a tight container, and I grew up being afraid of those gifts. So when my gifts started getting stronger and Spirit was asking me to share them publicly, I was like, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm going to go be a teacher in a school somewhere, like a nice normal muggle person does, with like a job, But anyway, so by the time I answered the call, I really felt like I could hold a safe container and not do things the way I saw them. My mom's been abducted by aliens. We had a UFO land in the open lot that still is next to their house. And so I've shared a lot of these stories privately and publicly too, but I share it all with you to tell you I come from a lineage that's the real deal. And if you grow up watching that and the person does not have a tight container, it can really scare you. Some of you have probably seen things that defy explanation too. So that's why I do protocol really tightly. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't want you to have a bad experience. And so just know anytime you do ritual with me, I've already opened such a tight container. Nothing's gonna come into this energy space together. And that's part of the reason why people like to do ritual together and with me is you don't have to worry so much. I'm holding the space and the protocol for you. But it's true. So it took me a lot of years to answer this call. So the call came to me once when I was a teenager. I said no thank you. I went off to college and did my thing. The call came back when I was 23. No thank you, right? Blah, blah, blah. The call came back. No thank you. The call came back one more time. Okay? You have to start answering because then things get extreme. Do you know what happened to me the last time the call came and I said no? I lost my vision.
Oh my God.
It's really true. I was legally blind for 6 months.
Whoa.
About a year before I started Sage Goddess. My kids were 1 and 3, almost 2 and 4. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and the way I was diagnosed is I had full optical neuritis, first in one eye, then in the other, so I couldn't drive. I'm sharing all of this with you because at that point, I was going to answer that call. Do you know what I mean? The universe whispered to me, I'm here on this earth to do this work. I know that 1,000%. It took really booting me in the butt for me to finally say yes. And what's interesting is what happened to me is often called a shamanic initiation, and they take one of your senses. Okay, so it's actually a very typical thing that happens. I didn't put it all together until my teacher was like, you're being initiated and I recommend that you go with it because if you don't go with it this time, I'm really concerned about how they're going to speak to you next. I mean, that was a very serious conversation with my teacher. So I don't feel like I was pushed into it, but I definitely feel like the universe was starting to say, you're ready now, and whether you think you're ready now, this is what's happening, and so you should probably just really get excited about this program because this is happening for you right now. And so I'm very healthy. I'm fully in remission. That happened to me so that I would pay attention. I don't think the universe likes to cause harm in a way, but I'll tell you why it wasn't harm. And the best thing that ever happened to me was getting MS. Are you ready?
Wow.
Best thing that ever happened to me was losing my vision. Because when they brought my vision back, which is 20/20, today I have no damage to my optic nerves.
Wow.
They also gave me third sight. I can see spirits. I can see sacred geometry at will. I can see a lot more than most humans can. And I could not before I lost my vision. So during an initiation, when they take your sense, they bring it back to you even better. So I have friends who've had their sense of smell or their sense of taste taken away, and then all of a sudden those senses are extremely heightened. It was weird not to be able to see. But I appreciate my vision today more than I ever could have, right? I mean, you have to sometimes lose something to really appreciate it. So anyway, I do want to get to our ritual, but I felt called to share all of this with you tonight because I think some of you are feeling the call, but you're anxious about it. Do you know? There was a really interesting clip that I shared with my team today about wasting time. It was a Muji clip. Do you know Muji?
Yes.
And what he said is, you need to stop wasting time. You're here to do something really important. When are you going to do it? Are you going to do it next year? Are you going to do it when you retire? Or are you going to do it when spirit comes up and kicks you in the butt?
No.
Or are you going to do it like right now? You know what I mean? And so tonight, this message is so on my heart for you. Something is seeking you. And it's trying to find the path of least resistance. And if you won't listen, if you won't pay attention, if you won't, and this is going to be a weird word for you, but if you won't submit, that's a word that comes from the Christian tradition that gives a lot of people the heebie-jeebies, but I actually think the idea of submission is beautiful. As a woman, I get it. Part of my divine beauty is my ability to submit and surrender. I can submit and surrender to the divine masculine. I can submit and surrender to God. I can submit and surrender to another woman, and which means I shed my ego and I show up as full spirit. And so I have learned to submit and surrender. I highly recommend tonight. Can you take a deep breath and exhale? And to yourself or out loud say, I submit. I soften. I'm listening.
I'm listening.
Right? How do you submit? You just did. It's not so hard. We think these things are really hard because we've grown up hearing that everything worthwhile is hard, and that relationships are hard, and that spirituality is hard because you're bad and you do bad things and God has to constantly forgive you. We've been taught all of that. What we haven't been taught is you're perfect as you are. You were created to be exactly who you are in this moment. You need to change nothing about you to be loved by your Creator, and that you are absolutely perfect. Your emotions are all valid. Your anger is valid. Your happiness is valid. Your frustration is valid. Your jealousy is valid. Your sadness about your childhood is valid. You know what I mean? So if you can really soften and submit and say, I let it all be. You want to know how people feel loved is when you look at them and say, you can just come as you are. I don't need you to be anything other, truly, to love you than who you are right in this moment. Like that, nothing makes people feel more loved. And I'm really saying that. Like, I don't need you, Rosie, to be anything other than you are in this moment, to love you with my whole heart.
And I love you too.
I love you very much. I really do.
Now you're going to make me cry.
And you can't cry. No, you're going to submit to this Pisces moon, and I just can't do it. I have tissue, though. I do have tissue right here if you need it. But it's really true. I don't need you to be anything other than you are. Now, that's easy to say sometimes to a sister or a girlfriend, you know. It's harder to say to your partner, who you've been in conflict with for 25 years. Let's be honest, right? It's harder to say to your mother, who you feel like didn't do right by you, right? It's harder to say to a lot of people in your life. But what's the alternative? What's the alternative? Everybody's crying. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I fully screwed this up. I'm very sorry. Okay. Leave it to the double fire sign to make everybody cry. And I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you. It's good. No, it is. And your tears, shed those tears. I'm always telling people, you need to cry. It's one of the reasons. Norma loves you too, she just said.
Oh, I love Norma.
Norma, she loves you too. Look, it's a love fest. Oh. One of the biggest things that spawns tears in people is truth. Like when I hear truth, I can't help but cry. Bless you. Right? Like when you hear truth or when you see truth, it brings you to tears, doesn't it? When you see a couple getting married, you cry. Why? Because that's truth right there. They are surrendering, they're submitting before God. However they think of God, right? They're submitting together. That is holy. Baby is born, why are you crying? That's the happiest thing on earth because it's true. They just saw God 9 months ago. They have things to teach you. Right? And so it's like truth is truth. Okay, so let me show you what stones we're working with. I don't know how you felt about this pink petrified wood, but it's one of my favorite stones of the whole year. Did you love it? It's naturally pink petrified wood from the petrified forest. Pink trees? When we're done tonight, this is going in my bra. Not in my underwear because we heard about a toilet mishap. That'll make you stop crying. This Pisces moon, we had a toilet mishap. I'm not calling it out. I'm not naming names, but we did have one. Okay, tree agate. That's tumbled tree agate. Chrysocolla. Holy smokes, chrysocolla. We love chrysocolla. Right? The Romans loved chrysocolla. Do you know why? Because Romans wanted to be like Egyptians. They were jealous. And do you know who loved chrysocolla more than anyone? Cleopatra. Chrysocolla she believed that it created smooth diplomacy. My crystal book is coming out. It's on Amazon.com right now. It's a whole history of gems from Lemuria and Atlantis all the way to modern times. And I have a whole section on chrysocolla. So Cleopatra, when she was on diplomatic missions, would bring chrysocolla beads and give them as a gift. And she thought she was working magic. She would say, "Oh, I brought a gift for you. Why don't you take it?" And then she would let them work with it a little bit before she would have a conversation. Because she thought it softened and made a good pathway to diplomacy. So that's the story of chrysocolla. And of course the Romans liked it because they just wanted to be Egyptian, and they could not be. And then purple thulite, which is this beautiful stone right here. This is the most powerful throat chakra stone on the planet, stronger than amazonite. For speaking your truth, articulating your truth, and living authentically. Diana is the queen of living authentically. Truly, if you want to live authentically tonight, then set that intention this evening. This is our rendering. This is Gabriel's amazing art rendering of Diana. Didn't he do a beautiful job? Love, love, love. So the invocation, I'm going to read it to you now. I invoke all facets of the goddess Diana, the lady of the wilds, mistress of the beasts, guardian of the oak. I am transported by candlelight to Lake Elemi, where I wash my hair in Diana's cleansing waters and adorn it with flowers as I honor her in celebration of the Nemeralia, Amenaho, and so it is. And you also got, in case you were wondering why you got a hair mask in your kit, that's because hair was a big deal on Nemeralia. They would wash their hair and put sacred oils in it before they went to the lake to gaze into the reflection and to see what was coming for them in the year ahead. So you can use this at any time. This is full of really, really good ingredients, by the way. There's argan oil in this, which is in like Moroccan oil. Do you know what I mean? So put this on your split ends. It's actually no joke. It's a really good hair mask. Isn't it yummy? Okay, so keep that. You'll actually really want to use that, especially if you have long hair. Okay, let me get my situation, my smudging situation, and my torch. I want to invite you to take a nice deep breath, roll your shoulders back, call yourself into present time. Let nothing distract you from this moment. This is your time. So good. Okay. And so I'm going to light my candle, and then I'm going to open our beautiful circle. That is our candle. As I light this candle, I invoke all facets of the goddess Diana. Okay, so we have anointed. You have your stones. Which stones you use in this meditation are up to you, okay? If you're trying to live deeper into your authenticity, if that's part of what you're working with Diana, Diana's going to help you get over your fear of what people think. Diana didn't care. She stopped caring a long time ago what people think. And so this is wild hair, wild attitude, wild, 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 crazy, crazy, crazy. So if you're trying to be a little wilder and a little more authentic through life.
Allie.
Huh? What was that?
Oh, I said Allie.
Oh.
She's already double Scorpio. Crazy.
Allie just got called out in the room. So Allie's opening up her wildness tonight. I love it. She's already wild. You heard it here. Are you single, Allie?
Yes.
Allie's single.
She has a date tomorrow night. Woo!
Did you say you're double Scorpio?
Yeah.
Allie could be really fun, everybody. And she's got really good hair. Okay.
And she's freaky.
Very good.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, stage god is single.
No, I mean, we could do like a whole matchmaking situation here. I don't know. Okay. Love is seeking you. That's right. Okay. If you're trying to get stronger through Diana, stop taking people's crap. Stop caring what people think. Ground yourself into the earth. Really start to do your soul work. Stop living in fear all the time. What are they going to think? What are they going to say? Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Aren't you old enough to know that those people just disappear anyway?
Right.
You know? You go and make a whole bunch of changes for people, and then you turn around and they're gone.
Right.
And then where are you, right? No, we don't change anything for anyone, darling. No. And so that would be your petrified wood. If you are trying to step into your feminine power, and that's one of the things I'm really working on. Believe it or not, you may look at me and say, really you? But there's still times where I want to channel it in an even more powerful way. And so that is your chrysocolla. That is you trusting that you have all of the gifts, all of the knowledge, all the support you need to move forward in a good way, authentically in your life. And then tree agate is about the forest that is so sacred to Diana. And so this is more about, thank you, darling. This is more about working with her element and with her tree spirits. And so if you're trying to connect more with nature, with the elements, then work with your tree agate tonight. Does that help you in terms of which stones are for which and why? Okay. So I want you to roll your shoulders back. Take a nice deep breath. I'm going to open our circle. Opening with selenite, which is one of the most beautiful crystals to use to open a sacred circle. Selenite is like a light sword. It cuts through all darkness, and darkness cannot sustain itself in the face of selenite. Did you know that? It's one of the most important stones for you to have in your collection. If you don't have selenite, make it your personal mission. When I go to Tucson, if you want selenite wands, that is the time to be asking me about that. This actually came from Tucson, and so just keep in mind when we do Tucson Insiders, and you want selenite wands, that's something you can think about in February. Okay, so I'm going to begin by calling to the directions. Just close your eyes, settle into the moment. I'm going to begin by helping you imagine that there's a beautiful white circle of light that connects all of us. And to connect into it personally, I want you to imagine that a beam of light extends from your left hand, about 4 to 6 inches in diameter, beautiful white, warm beam of light in your hand. And I want you to imagine that that beam of light extends out of your left hand and goes clockwise around the entire circle that connects us tonight. And we have beloveds in our community who come from all over the world. And so your circle is very wide, crossing space and time. Oh, thank you, Cindy, for the purple thulite. So thulite is about, if you're using Diana to speak more truthfully, to use your voice. And a lot of you need to do that. I have no problem with voice, but some of you do struggle with voice. And so if you're working with voice, definitely use your thulite. Okay, that beam of light is going to come back around to your right hand, and when it does, your hands are going to feel very warm. Are you feeling it yet? My hands were warm the minute I sent the beam of light around. When your right hand gets warm too, that's how you know you're holding the circle in your own hands. You feel it coming around? It's yummy, isn't it? Okay, so that white beam of light connects all of us across space and time. And so I want you to send one word around that beam of light. You can send love, you can send healing, you can send joy, you can send authenticity, appreciation, just knowing that whatever word you send around is going to come right back to you. Cue siren. Okay. And so tonight we begin by calling to the direction of east, crossing land and space and time. Guardians of the Eastern Gateway, we approach you tonight with such reverence and gratitude. Thank you for once again helping us open our sacred circle to celebrate the full moon. We ask for blessings upon tonight's ritual. It's a new beginning for many of us as we come to understand what it is that's also seeking us. We know what we are seeking, but it's a new beginning tonight to understand what is also trying to attract us as well. And so thank you for guiding us toward this new awareness, this new knowledge that we can use to live a more inspired life. We welcome you to the circle. Guardians of the Southern Gateway, element of fire, direction of south, we really welcome you tonight because we need your courage. If we're going to take on one of these new faces of Diana tonight, it may require us to change something about who we are or what we do. And so if we need to be more bold, if we need to be more brave, help us, Guardians of the Southern Gateway, to inhabit that space really powerfully. Teach us to stand in our own power in an unapologetic way. We welcome you to the circle. And Guardians of the Western Gateway, the Water Gateway, we honor you, the energy of this beautiful moon, water flowing all around us. We can feel it trying to purify and cleanse us. Water is the energy of grandmother. And so we welcome this grandmotherly sort of hug and support tonight as we accept who we are and seek what we desire at the same time. And so Guardians of the West, we welcome you. And Guardians of the Northern Gateway, thank you for connecting us with this ancient past that still has so much relevance to us today. It's amazing when you think about these ancient rituals and the fact that we still enjoy them now. How powerful history and magic are. They never lose their power over us, their power to inspire and to encourage us. So thank you for your presence in the circle. Diana, we thank you for your forests and your trees. We thank you for the many animals that you protect and caretake. All of those reside in the north, and we welcome you into the circle this evening. And with that, our beautiful circle is open. And just stay right where you are. I'm going to take you right into our meditation. And so tonight, I want to welcome all of your spirit guides, and I want you to welcome them too. Call them in. We're calling in spirit guides of authenticity and truth and manifestation. That's the energies that we're calling in tonight. So spirit guides of truth, of vision, of clarity and purpose, we invite you into this circle, into this ritual tonight. Help us as we gaze into these sacred waters. Help us to see an accurate reflection of what it is that we need to become or create in our lives in order to live more in alignment with our deepest authentic truth. And help us also to see the direction we need to move in next. As we come to understand what is seeking us, help us to understand, what does that mean for our profession? What does that mean for our family? What does that mean for our partners? What does that mean for our children? How do we live authentically and into this purpose from the place we are now? And so I'm asking your guides to give you really concrete direction tonight. How do you move more in alignment with what you're about to see? And I want you to give them permission to really show you tonight. Do they have your permission? Spirit guides wait on you. Everybody thinks they just show up and wave a wand and try to make all your dreams come true, and I'm sorry to tell you that is not how it works. Do you know that they are bound to watch us struggle until we ask for help? Did you know that? Spirit guides have a non-interference policy. I've been shown this multiple times in Shamanic Journey. They do not intervene until you ask. Have you asked? When clients come to me and they're saying, I'm having such a hard time, what do I do? The first thing I ask them is, have you asked for help? So quietly in your mind right now, give them permission to show you and ask them for their help, and ask them for very specific guidance about how to use what you see tonight and live into it, manifest it for your highest good and the highest good of everyone else around you. May it be so. Okay. So I want you to imagine that you have a beautiful pair of wings that extend behind you, and you're going to use those wings to fly with me tonight. So I want you to imagine that as you're sitting there with your eyes closed and your shoulders rolled back, that all of a sudden your body starts to feel almost weightless, as if just the tiniest breeze could lift you up and just pick you and push you off onto the winds. So I want you to use your wings to lift off the ground tonight and fly with me. We're going to fly east tonight and head to Rome. And as we make that journey together, flying with our beautiful big wings stretched out before us and behind us, as we fly across those breezes, crossing land and bodies of water, heading toward what might have been an ancient home for you. I come from ancient Greece, which is a neighbor. And so as we go back home tonight to this ancient land, I want you to imagine the incredible temples. None of them still exist, by the way. All of the temples dedicated to Diana have been destroyed. But I want you to imagine that those ancient temples still stand. And I want you to try and land, ask your guides to land you in the center of one of those ancient temples to Diana. And take a moment there. Spirit guides infuse us as we stand in the temple with Diana's energy. She's a huntress. She's fearless. When she sees what she wants, there's no stopping her. Diana doesn't know how not to chase. She only knows the hunt. And so if you're afraid to hunt, you can call upon Diana to do your hunting for you. That's what we're doing tonight. She's going to go hunt and come back with everything that you seek. And so let's charge up in the temple. Imagine pulling up her energy from within the earth and receiving it from all around you, the massive columns around her temple. Imagine looking up at the sky and seeing big, beautiful clouds moving across the sky and calling in her energy from above you. Element of air, from beneath you, element of earth. Imagine there were always sacred fires burning and all of the torches. We have all of our candles lit. It's the festival of the torches. Imagine calling in her fire and her passion and her swiftness. She ran fast. She hunted fast. And then last but not least, I want you to let your spirit guides pick you up by your wings one more time. And now we're going to head to Lake Nemi, where the Nemiralia rituals took place. So I want you to imagine now flying over the forests, away from the temple toward the lake. And if you haven't seen Lake Nemi, I want you to imagine a perfectly round lake, like a mirror, perfectly still, perfectly flat. That's why this lake was chosen. There was no movement. It was like looking in a mirror. And up the sides of Lake Nemi, just pure, beautiful green grass. It's idyllic. this location. It's as beautiful as you can possibly imagine it to be. And I want you to notice that as you're looking at the lake and looking at the grass, there are hills up over the side. And I want you to imagine that there are women coming to join you, men coming to join you, and they're all carrying torches and candles and lanterns. And there's flowers in their hair because we decorated our hair with flowers to celebrate this beautiful festival. They're all coming to gather with you. All of these ancient spirits who came every year on this full moon to gaze are coming to join you. And they're bringing their fire. They're bringing their courage. They are bringing their wisdom to support you. They are going to raise this energy with you tonight. And so as you feel them coming to circle around you, this is your tribe. These are your people. They are coming to do this sacred ritual work with you. And so as you approach the lake, and I want you to imagine just walking with them. Maybe you're holding a lantern too. You can even just hold your candle for a moment and imagine what it would be like to be walking down that grass toward that river, like all of them, a silent long line of souls carrying a fire burning for their favorite goddess. It's a beautiful image, isn't it? And when you come to the water's edge, you place your candle or your lantern down on the ground next to you. And I want you to imagine crouching down and then kneeling right at the edge of the water. And as you kneel down, I really want you to feel your knees making contact with the grass, placing your hands on the grass next to you. Taking a deep breath in, fully releasing on the exhale. And then just feeling that Roman air, the breeze is passing through. They say at Lake Nemi there's a circular breeze because there's almost like a vortex of energy, and that it kept everyone cool during that hot August month when they were doing this ritual. August is one of the hottest months in Rome and in Italy, so you can imagine how it would have been difficult. But they say that Lake Nemi is blessed by the breath of Diana and the circular breeze. So just letting that breeze blow through your hair. And now I want you to lean forward and begin to let your vision fall soft on this perfect mirror of a lake. And as you begin to gaze in, keep in mind that you are following in the footsteps of your own ancestors. You may well have had a past life where you enjoyed this festival while you were living at that time. And so what a powerful thing to come back and remember. And so as you lean forward and you meet your own gaze in the water, I want you to let your vision fall soft. And first you can see yourself, and then all of a sudden you can't see yourself anymore. It almost becomes like a blank slate. And then you see the clouds being mirrored in the water, and then you don't see the clouds mirrored in the water. And you begin to see that Diana and all of the spirits of the lake are using this lake as a teacher to you. It's like a movie screen that they'll use to play for you images of what is seeking you. And so spirit guides, we give you permission tonight to show us everything that is seeking us right now. People, places, things, experiences. What is arriving for us? And what a perfect time. Do you know why they did this in August? Because you're harvesting right now. Don't you want to know what you're harvesting? What will you be receiving in the next 60 days through the harvest season? And so take a moment. Know that Diana might communicate with you through the lake through symbols. She might show you a word. She might show you a vision of a person. You may not know this person. It may be a person who's seeking you that you don't even know yet. You're not even aware of them yet. That could be exciting. Could be a new job that they're showing you. So I'm going to go quiet for a minute, just 1 minute, and I want to give you a chance to just receive and open your heart, open your mind. But don't have expectations. Let whatever appears on the water appear to you, knowing that it's all happening in perfect time. What is seeking you? you might let yourself play a little bit with the water too, like maybe take some of the water in your hand and then gaze into the water in your hand. You might even see a different image being reflected back at you. So allow yourself to play with the water too, and see if you get different images as you play. For some of you, I'm feeling like there's ancestors who are showing themselves in the water, which is just a reminder that you still have wisdom to gain from your loved ones who have gone before you. And some of you are being shown things that are to come to pass soon, and others of you are being shown things that are years away from you, ahead of you. And I think that's to inspire you to keep going. Some of you, I feel like this ritual is really designed to show you that there's so much more ahead than you even imagined before. Oh, I love that. Angel drank the water. And you can do that. Lake Nemi is extremely healing. So if you want to reach your hand in, and believe me, with these water rituals, it's so powerful still to visualize drinking the water. There is such a massive energy stream there. And so reach your hand in and take it, and imagine drinking it, and imagine swallowing it, every molecule of that water, because that water is charged with your desires. So if you take that water energy in to every one of your cells, imagine it healing you and reorienting you on a cellular level tonight. That's very possible. Diana represents eternal beauty, eternal youth, eternal wisdom. So you can receive all of those just by working with her waters from this lake. And if you have a question, now is the time to ask that question. So if there's a question you want to ask about something that you have felt is coming to you, but is it really, are you accurate in your feelings and your expectations? Definitely this is an opportunity to ask Diana, to ask your spirit guides. Your desire guides are here, your manifestation guides are here, your soul path guides are here. They're all here to show you your next steps on this path that you're walking. And so spirit guides, we thank you for the wisdom, the direction, the courage. I ask that you fill us up tonight. Give us, because it's going to take courage for some of us to live up to what we're seeing. I can feel it. But you're not here by accident. You're not here by accident. Who will you become as you receive what you seek? And just take a moment to express your gratitude for what you're seeing and what you're experiencing. It's such a beautiful opportunity to connect in with a real practice, a real tradition, a historical place and time. And to work with it magically in modern times is so incredibly powerful. So just giving thanks for our ability to experience this, to connect with these energy streams. And Diana, we ask for your support in the days coming as we live into the visions that we've seen tonight. Help us to run free and wild. Help us to embrace every wild aspect of our nature and to be brave, to be the brave hunter, to be the brave huntress. So good. So difficult, but so worth it. And so take a mental note. Any symbols, any signs that you saw, any person's faces that you saw. It's all relevant to you. It may not all make sense right now, but it's all relevant to you. And then before we leave the meditation, I want you to give something back. It's really important for you to also make an investment, a commitment. It's almost saying yes to what you've seen tonight. So there's different ways to do that. If you want to imagine placing something into the water as an offering, you're welcome to do that. You can imagine blowing your breath across the water. Did you know that your breath is the most important offering you can make to a plant, to a sacred land, to someone you're trying to heal? It's your life force. Don't use it, without really being intentional. So when you blow your breath across that water, you're sealing that experience with your own life force. And we give thanks, spirit guides, guardian angels, ascended masters who've attended us tonight, ancestor spirits who are here, guardians of this sacred land, all of our Roman guides, Diana herself, and her attending guides. We are so grateful for your presence and wisdom and courage and bravery and kick-ass, powerful, feminine spirit that is, I think, really lifting all of us up tonight and encouraging us to be strong and powerful in our own lives, not to make excuses, not to apologize, but to be strong and brave. And when you're ready, I want you to lift your gaze from the water. Just lift your gaze from the water, lift it up, and extend your gaze outward now to the grass around the river, around the lake. You can lift your gaze to the clouds. Just releasing the energy of the lake, releasing all the lake spirits who've been with us this evening. Take a moment to imagine placing your hands on your feet and your feet on that grass to ground this energy and this experience. Sending all of that beautiful energy and those visions that you just created, sending all of that energy back down into Gaia herself. With so much gratitude and love. And when you're ready, you've been in a kneeling or sitting position. I want you to begin to stand up now. Find your footing on that grass. And for you in meditation, starting to wiggle fingers and toes. And turn your head from side to side. Starting to become aware of your wings that helped you get where you are with me. Beautiful. It's so true. Well, so if you're seeing an eye, what does that mean to you? Quite a few of you are seeing eyes. Fish eyes, feline eyes, yeah? If you're seeing animals, I will tell you that is a clear message to you. Diana is with you. She speaks in animals. That stray cat that comes around your house and you don't know where it came from, that's Diana. That dog that would not let you not adopt it. Have you ever had a dog like that? I have. Like, no, I'm sorry, but I'm going home with you. I know it's weird, you don't want a dog, but I'm going home with you. If you haven't had that happen to you, it's a weird experience, but animals choose you. That's Diana, okay? That's Diana. So if you're seeing a wolf, this is the lake in Latin is called Lacus Nemorensis. This is Lake Nemi, where the traditional Nemoralia festival in ancient Rome was held and continues to be celebrated today. So beautiful, isn't it? What about you guys in the room? Did you see animals? What did you see? Anything really catch your eye? Yeah.
I saw a wand that's sort of similar to the selenite.
Uh-huh.
And like a golden spear and a scent. I smelled a scent.
What did you smell?
Like a masculine scent.
Interesting. Diana doesn't strike me as a woman who would really wear a floral. You know what I mean? She, I think she's sort of more of a woodsy girl. Yeah.
It smells like that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's beautiful. And so when you're, absolutely, I'll come to you. When we're done tonight, we're not done yet, but when we are, I really encourage you to journal. I don't always tell you that, but believe it or not, you will forget what you saw. That's how magic works. Now, you don't have to worry about that because the other way that magic works, they download directly to your hard drive. They bypass you. You know why they bypass you? Because you think too much. I mean, I'm sorry, but you ruin it all with your mind. And so we all have to bypass you. It's really sad, but your spiritual development requires that you tune out half the time because this doesn't get you anywhere. In fact, this creates all your problems. And then spirit has to come through and solve them with your heart. And so we cut all that off and go right to the heart and right to the crown, right? But we don't mess around with the brain. The brain is really not your friend, except to get through school. Other than that, it's really not your friend. So beautiful, you guys. Okay, hold on to that energy. And so we're going to fly back. You should imagine your wingspan. I'm always telling you to do this anyway. Once a day, you should imagine that you have wings and you should feel your divine wingspan. I move like this every morning. One day I'm going to record what I do and offer it as like a goddess movement just to get your body, your blood flowing. But you need to feel yourself. I think so many of us walk around like this in life and we never like roll our shoulders back and really open up the diaphragm and feel the fullness of your wingspan. Like, do it now. It feels so good. It stretches your back. Don't be shy. In the West, we get shy about moving and making body sounds, and you know what? Make a sound and move your arms. Okay. Shake it off. Shake it off. Okay. So once you got your wings, we're going to fly back. So once again, just feeling, and you can do this anytime. You know where I do this? There's a cliff right now where we are at Sage Goddess headquarters that faces the ocean. And I go to that cliff and I open my arms and I allow myself to get really light and I fly. And I do remote viewing that way. I can feel my spirit soar over that Pacific and go. If I have a friend who needs healing, I will go and do that and fly to them. But I do it on that cliff because it's this really beautiful way of just feeling like I do get liftoff somehow. And I can see things. Have you ever met someone who does remote viewing? They can see things. I have a friend who's a psychic, and she used to work for the government as a remote viewer. You may not know that they hire people to do that, but they do. And she could give accurate coordinates. She's retired now, but she's a very powerful person, and she was taken very seriously. So anyway, letting yourself just fly. It's one of the most beautiful meditations. Lift those wings, leaving ancient Rome behind, flying up above that lake. You might even look down and see if you could see it beneath you. The more you try to visualize what's beneath you, the more accurate your ability to view from a distance becomes. And just feeling your wings as you float back, heading west, or wherever you're coming home. I'm coming back to LA, so I'm on a western flight. It's sunset time, so watching the clouds and the sun go to sleep, as I tell my kids. Good night, go to Africa. That's what we say every night. And when your wings land you back where you came from, find your footing again, put your feet on the floor, wiggle your fingers and toes. And then I like to really ground the energy of a ritual. So rubbing your hands together and then sending that energy down into the center of the earth, where it can be held, transmuted if it needs to be into usable white light. And Gaia, you have our permission to send the energy that we have raised tonight to anyone who needs it. We know that energy is never created, it's never destroyed, but it can be raised and gathered. And so we have raised good energy tonight. Let's send it back out down into Gaia, who can hold it, send it to her children who need it. Thank you for allowing us to hold the space. Ooh. And guardians of the North, we are so grateful for the ancestors who joined us this evening, for the sacred land of Rome, where we got to visit, to Diana's sacred forests and her lake. Thank you for attending us. Guardians of the North, we release you from your service to the circle tonight. Guardians of the West, thank you for the gift of water. Were you guys able to really see Lake Nemi in your mind? Were you able to see it? It's really beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. And it's true, the water is so still there that it is like a mirror. So incredibly beautiful. So thank you for the gift of the stillness of that water and the reminder that we can always see clearly if we're willing to look. And so thank you, we release you. Guardians of the South, thank you for this opportunity to kick things into a new gear. We know Mars went direct today, and so that's also you, direction of south. Thank you. Now, do you feel it all over? Mars is like, boom, it's all happening now. So, Guardians of the South, that's my element, my direction. We're so ready for some hustle and flow right now. So thank you for attending us this evening. Thank you for showing us what our authentic truth looks like. Thank you for helping us be brave enough to follow it and chase it. We release you with so much gratitude from the circle. And Guardians of the East, where we began. Thank you for allowing us to retain these lessons from history. And thank you for allowing us to learn from the example of our ancestors and all of these incredible tales and legends of goddesses and magical places around the world that still have so much meaning for us today. Thank you for this new beginning. Thank you for this breath of life into who we can become and what can be for us. We release you with gratitude from the circle tonight. Now, I'm doing something a little different than I have done before. I'm working with crystals outside the circle before I blow out my candle. And there's a reason that I'm doing this. I want you to work with these crystals, but we're not necessarily dedicating them just to this ritual. Does that make sense? When we work with them in the circle, they're sort of for that purpose, but for nothing else. What I want you to do tonight is I want you to claim one of the energies that we talked about. Authenticity, courage, connecting more deeply to the elements, channeling that divine feminine. I want you to choose one of those. And I want you to commit tonight to, for the next 30 days, the next lunar cycle, to really embody it completely and fully in every conversation that you have. I know I'm asking a lot of you right now. I want you to embody it with your children. I want you to embody it with your friends. I want you to embody it with your parents. I want you to embody it with your partner. That may be the hardest thing to do. But I want you to do it. And most of all, I want you to embody it with you. Because one of the hardest things to do is keep going and keeps living into your authenticity when you're all alone with yourself and your mind starts going, you're not good at that. You shouldn't really do that. That's not really going to happen for you. When that starts, that's when you really have to live into this. So choose your stone. If you want, I'm going to choose mine intuitively. What I do is I take my non-writing hand and I run it over my stones until one of them gets really warm, and that's how I know which one to work with. So if you want to use my technique, you can do that. I have to move away from my candle because that's artificial warmth. It's not real warmth. You got your stone? Oof, wow. Tree agate, which is really interesting because I'm writing about the elements right now. So I'm supposed to work more powerfully with the elements, and I love that as medicine for me tonight. So thank you, Diana, for that gift. What gift does she give you tonight? What's your gift from Diana? And if you don't have a stone, that's okay. What did you feel? Authenticity. Authentic voice.
Courage.
Okay. Courage. Courage. Adventure. I like that. Adventure's good. What gift did you guys choose in the feed from Diana? What did she give you? Because, by the way, you might have said, I want to work with my authentic truth, and you don't have to have a stone for that right now. You have to have an intention for that. You're committing to being authentic. I love it. That's so good. That's right. You all, being brave is the most important one, I think, of all tonight, because it does take bravery to be who you truly are and live it, you know, with as much truth as you can. Aho. Well, Jada, you just connected with the elements. Jada's asking, how do I connect with the elements? You just did. You flew through the air. You worked with the torches, which are fire. You connected with Lake Nemi tonight, which is water. And you grounded into her temple and her forest tonight, which is all about earth. So just by being with me in this circle, you have engaged the elements directly and fully tonight. So you've already started that work, which is so amazing. Aho. Well, with that, I'm going to extinguish my candle. And I always watch my smoke. The direction that your smoke goes in has meaning. So if it goes north, that means that's your work to do at the end of a ritual. You need more grounding. If it goes west, it's telling you that your next steps are around emotional healing and balance. If it goes to the south, you need to work more with fire element. If it goes to the east, sometimes it's a sign that there's change coming. The winds of change, as they say. So watch your smoke. Absolutely. Good job, you guys. You did a beautiful job tonight working with Diana. Okay, so I hope that you really enjoyed this ritual. I so enjoyed having you with me. I want to tell you that we are going to Imperial Japan next month. One of our last months, like I said, in the world of magic. Bless you, bless you. Someone's allergic to authenticity. I used to be allergic to authenticity. I'm totally kidding. Okay. What I want to tell you is there's a free gift in your set this time, which I think is really beautiful. So we custom made, so we made Moon Gazer perfume at Sage Goddess, which has essential oils in it that are native to Japan. And then we handmade the incense sticks with our perfume. And then you get this box as your gift, which you can store your sticks in and also what you do with this, I just want to show you how to use it, because when it comes, you may not know all the tips and tricks. Okay, so there's a little hole inside the box right here. And so you stick your stick in there, and you store the rest of them in there, and you light it. I'm going to torch it. I don't want to light my box though, so hold on. That would be an unintended consequence. So you light the end of your incense stick. I just taught my daughter this because she's really into incense sticks. You blow it out, and then you put it in the... That sounds so bad. I'm not going to say what I just was about to say. You do what you know you're supposed to do with it, which may involve a hole. Okay? And then you close the box, and the smoke rises through the holes, which is pretty cool. It needs to kind of get going there, but there it goes. And so that's why it has the holes, so that the smoke can rise. Isn't that cool? So it holds your incense, and it makes a beautiful tool to burn your incense too. And then you get your gemstone set, which comes with, these were made for us, little onyx rabbits. Because rabbit is the animal totem that was most honored in ancient imperial Japan. Isn't that cool? So you get a little rabbit, you get natural moonstone, you get a beautiful piece of tumbled chevron amethyst, and then your candles. So that's all in the shop for you today. And I think there's a discount, but I don't remember what it is, so you'll have to... Moon 13? Okay. Half the time I can't keep it straight. Moon 13 is your code. All right, you guys, have a beautiful rest of your evening. I was so happy to be with you tonight. I will look forward to seeing you when we head to Imperial Japan next month. In the meantime, you're going to commit, right? You're going to do it 30 days, right? Say amen. I'm going to do it. Amen. I see you. I commit too. May we hold the space for each other together. I'll see you soon. Thanks for being here, you guys. Take care. Have a great rest of your evening.